World Ocean Day 2022. Uh, 2022 Ocean Day is revitalizing collective action for the ocean. The two terms revitalization and collective action are very endearing and challenging. However, deteriorating health of the ocean, acidification, disappearance of coral reefs, and mangrove abuse of its living and non-living resources, and its impact on our humanity present an enormous challenge to the very survival of the planet we call Earth, for the simple fact that ocean is a source of life and human security. The interdependence of the health of the ocean and urban development are intertwined. In fact, the benefit derived from sustainable use of ocean services and resources do not automatically reflect the socio-economic dimension of an ocean-urban nexus economy. Hence, the SDGs, and particular SDG 14, cannot be treated as a standalone goal in implementation, but is interdependent on achieving other goals. In fact, a recent article asserted that the SDGs were created as an interlinked set of mutually reinforcing targets, with meeting all of them required to reach the ultimate vision of a sustainable future for our planet and its people. It is clear to all stakeholders, whether urban, coastal, or islands, what transpires in one sector is of consequence in other sectors. We cannot separate climate change from ocean acidification, extreme hurricanes, storm surge to sea level rise, which is an existential threat from the warming of the planet. The consequent cost is incalculable. Hence, we cannot address the revitalization of the ocean in separation. Our celebration of Ocean Day calls for serious reflection. An ocean in trouble is humanity in trouble. Nevertheless, the capacity of humans for destructiveness is only matched by the ingenuity of humans for creativity, and placing revitalization on the agenda is demonstrative of that attribute. In pursuing ocean revitalization, we have at hand two strategic avenues with a once-in-millennium opportunity to create real change, namely the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030, in particular SDG 14, and the close possibility of a legally binding international agreement on biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. To revitalize the two opportunities, it demands a committed and effective multilateral cooperation, which has not been forthcoming of recent times. Multilateral cooperation for capacity building in most aspects of trade and development became even more elusive and challenging. The international community faced a growing demonstrable lack of trust in multilateral cooperation for development, given the deplorable state of regress experienced by most of the humanity, particularly in developing and least developed countries, with no economic or social safety nets and inadequate capacity to meet the targets agreed in the SDGs of Agenda 2030. In the very recent words of Prime Minister Motley of Barbados, multilateral and values are under threat. The global order is not working. It is not delivering in area of critical importance necessary to achieve the goal of sustainable development for the majority of the world population. Thus, the combined effect of COVID-19 with the state of neglect of the ocean and the consequence of the nexus of ocean and climate change and human health is indicative of a possible identical fate for the SDGs as for the misfortune of the MDGs, which remind us of the words of Jeffrey Sachs. All that need to be said have been said, but very little done. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his recent statement, said, "The world is on the edge of an abyss and moving in the wrong direction." He painted a stark picture of unsustainable inequalities, runaway climate change, and faithless leadership. The world must wake up. He felt the world is slipping towards two different sets of economic trade, financial, technological rules, two divergent approaches to development of artificial intelligence, and ultimately the risk of a Cold War. To restore trust and inspire hope, we need cooperation. We need dialogue. We need understanding. We are on the edge of an abyss. Unfortunately, in the past years, an effective global ocean financing mechanism at international and national level with priority setting in policy direction has been missing. Availability of targeted and adequate financing is a priority for the desired level of the revitalization process. Facing such realities, we have to seek several alternative pathways, starting with public awareness and the role of stakeholders and civil society of the role ocean sustainability plays in their welfare and future. For the longer term, we need to create a new momentum to ocean literacy through education, awareness, creation, and long-term capacity development, starting from early adjusted children's schooling syllabi. Adoption of circular economy processes to reduce the scope of harmful and toxic substances such as pesticides, chemicals, discards, and plastics that is choking our ocean from and rivers. Accepting ecosystem approach for resolution of adverse impacts of ocean and coast. The Ocean Day agenda for managing human relations with an ocean in crisis can benefit from the successful experience of the integrated development approach of the CIRDAP, an international model of cooperation. The IOI remains committed to the vision of its founder as it celebrates its 50th anniversary in capacity development in all areas of ocean governance for global sustainability. Thank you very much for your kind attention. So I end the message delivered on behalf of Excellency Auni Benham. The message will be posted on the CIRDAP website today. Back to you, Huren.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, about our today's honorable speaker, Professor Dr. Suchana Chavanich. She is currently a professor in oceanography at the Department of Marine Science, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. She received her PhD in zoology at the University of New Hampshire, USA. She is considered to be Thailand's first female scientist to go diving in Antarctica and Arctic. Her research work on Antarctica and coral reefs has inspired Thai and young people on the value of marine ecosystems. To know more about her, you can visit our CIRDAP website to this link, experts.cirdap.org. You can find more about her interest, her research work. Today, the topic of our webinar is Ocean in a Changing World, How We Can Help. Now I welcome Professor Dr. Suchana Chavanich to start her presentation in this webinar. Ma'am?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, so anyway, good afternoon from Thailand, and also probably some places, still a good morning. So first of all, I would like to thanks the organizing committees, the CIRDAPs, for allowing me to join with your webinar today, and I'm honored and privileged to be here with you all. First, can I share my slide? Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you all see it, right?
Yes, ma'am, you can see.
Okay, good. So today I would like to share with you on what are happening in the ocean in this, changing world situation and how we can help. So as we are now, not only in a changing world, but also what I, call is that we are in a very complex changing world. So you could see that before a COVID situation, we just, have to worry about human activities that have impact to the environment and so on. But after these 2 years, because of the pandemic, that makes our, the world is a little bit more complex. And right now, we also talk a lot on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So as for the SDG, for the issue of oceans conservation, most of you probably know, it can fit very well on a SDG 14, conserve and sustainable use of the ocean, sea, and marine resources for sustainable development. So when we're talking about the ocean, particularly in a tropical area, one of the most important ecosystem is the coral reef. So today I will give you an example of the coral reef situation in a changing world. So when we look at this picture, this graph, unfortunately, some threat to the coral reef have been exist for more than 20 years. This map shows the major threats in different parts of the world in the coral reef. The threat to the corals include the overexploitations, pollutions, coastal developments, tourism, and so on. So when you look at this picture, what do you think? Well, this picture actually took it in southern part of Thailand in Phi Phi Islands. And this picture, I took it by myself. In that time, we went out to do a fish survey, but we could not see any fish because we would see all the feet, so many feet in the water. So you can see this picture, it's not just only 2 boats, but in that time when I count, is 13 boats that allow me, and in each boat have about 200 tourists in each boat. So can you imagine that? How many people in this small one location? So that's why, no doubt that I could not see any fish swimming in the water. I just only see the feet that, in front of me. So marine debris is also a concern issue in the coral reef ecosystem now. Once those marine litter get into the ocean, they can cover the coral and eventually make the coral die. Not only that, also unfortunately, right now, rising of the temperatures and rising of the CO2, that can have a significant effect to the coral reef. Rising of the temperature and rising of the CO2 can make ocean more acid, and consequently, coral are damaged, bleached, and die. And when we look at this picture, because of the global warming that makes seawater temperatures are rising, we are frequently now faced with the coral bleaching phenomenon. And a coral are turned into white color, like the picture that I showed you. And when we have a coral bleaching phenomenon, some of you may probably see it. It's not just only coral that turn into white color or bleach. Other reef organisms, like these pictures, sea anemones, they also can get the effect from the rising of the seawater temperatures. So, well, corals are normal animals that they try to survive, right? If you look at these pictures, you can see that majority part of the coral already dead, but there's still some part of the coral still survive. And this can show that, you know, corals are animal, even though they could not really cope with the environment change, but somehow they have to try to adapt themselves or try to survive and live go on. So another issue that recently in the past 3 or 4 years, you know, we were concerned about it. So it's about the plastic. So, well, in this picture, I ask you, some of you may you know, can answer the correct one. So what era we are at now? Some of you may say that, well, we are in a high technology era, but when we look carefully, well, we are actually in a plastic age or plastic era. But why I say like that? Because if you look around yourself right now, just look in front of you. If you use the cell phone cover is made of the plastic, right? There are so many things around us that made of the plastic. So actually plastic are very, very useful, but because of the human that didn't do a good job in management of the plastic waste, and that why make the plastic become a bad boy. And when we look at this graph, it shows that unfortunately, Thailand and some Southeast Asia country, we are put into what we call the plastic bank. So that is in the top 10 list of the country that have the high amount of the marine plastic waste that ending up into the ocean because of the mismanagement, which is not good at all. And not just only that, the Thailand and other Southeast Asian country also have a problem with importing of the plastic waste into the country. So the data show that more than 27% of the plastic waste globally were imported to Southeast Asia country. So it's quite a high number. It's 1/4 of the plastic waste globally that entering into the Southeast Asia country. And this picture actually we found in our study location in Chonburi province. So you can see that it's not, you know, the plastic waste not just only make the oceans, you know, not beautiful, but what happened, and this is probably the one that we concerned, is that it can kill animal. It can entangling the animal, marine animal, and you would not believe that each year more than 1 million of marine animal are killed because of the plastic waste into the oceans. And not just only that, 3-4 years ago in Thailand, we found this developer stand on the beach, and when the scientists that you know, look into the her stomach, and what they found is that they found a total of 85 big plastic bags, which is about 8 kilo in her stomach. So it's quite a lot. So you can see that the plastic waste is not just only entangled the marine animal, but some marine animal can end up eating them accidentally. And not just only that, during the past 2 years, we also enjoy working from home, but we also enjoy eating from home too. So a lot of, you know, food deliveries going on. And this is actually is from one meal that I order in my house, you could see that just only one meal, it's all just a plastic container. And we probably not so surprised that during the past 2 years, during the COVID pandemics, the plastic waste have been increased about 2 or 3 folder than before. And well, why we have to worry about the plastic waste? Now there's evidence that, well, we eat the thing that we throw away. So what it means is that those big plastic bags once end up into the ocean because of the UV light, the sunlight, and that make the plastic, the big plastic become a small plastic that we call the microplastic. And those microplastic, when they're floating into the oceans, and somehow, the marine organism, marine animal, like a fish, shrimps, they could accidentally eat the microplastic. And what happened is that we are the one that like seafood. So we eat the fish and shrimp and crab, and eventually we end up eating the microplastic, or we end up eating the things that we throw away, but in the form of the smaller one. And actually, right now, the scientists have predicted that each person, one person, can have at least about 10,000 microplastic in his or her stomach. So 10,000 microplastic in your stomach. Is it a lot? I think it's a lot, because we're not sure that 10,000 microplastic that end up into our stomach, it can cause some, human health or any kind of effects to our bodies or not. And that study is, still ongoing. So what happened is that right now we ingest the plastic that we throw away through the seafood that we eat, through the water that we drink, and through the air that we breathe. So in case of the coral, when we come back to the coral, scientists also have predicted that in the next 30 years, if we still not do anything, more than 9% of the coral reef around the world will be at risk. So will be eventually disappear. So within the next 30 years, I think we all still, alive. Next 30 years is not too far away. Is coming. So if we not try to do anything to save our ocean, to save our coral, that we will end up to be like the picture on the right hand side. So when we're talking about how to manage in terms of the plastic waste, I would like to share with you about example of Thailand, that they actually try to reduce the plastic waste. This is quite a good plan. Is that by the end of 2030s, they plan that 100% of target plastic waste will be recycling and apply for circular economies. Okay, so Thailand have a roadmap, but there's two main points that they want to focus. Is first to reduce the single use of plastic and replace with the environmental friendly products. And the second is to have a plastic waste into the circular economy. So that's why by the end of 2030, Thailand planned that 100% of target plastic waste will be recycling and apply for the circular economy principle. So this is the example what Thailand's doing is that 2 years ago, actually 2019, we already banned the capsules, no microbead, no oxo degradable plastic. This year actually, 2022, the Thai government planned that we will not use any more styrofoam for the container, and no plastic bag that less than 36 micron thick will be used. And by 2025, so in the next 3 years, hopefully no single-use plastic cup and straw. So this is the roadmap plan for Thailand. And well, it's not just only that, Thailand also try to manage a waste as a whole, start from the upstream to the downstream. Upstream is to reduce the solid waste, and for the downstream is to have like a coastal cleanup, ocean cleanups, including having a policies and several approach in different stakeholder, because we know that the government cannot work alone, right? We need a partner like a private sectors, a local people to work together. And as I just mentioned to you, that circular economy has come quite a very popular strategy, not just only in Thailand, but around the world. Uh, but for Thailand, the reason that they introduced the circular economy because of to approach, because they want to apply this circular thinking to solve existing problem. And the second is that to apply the circular economy to create the new economy. Okay. And for Thailand itself, okay, we go beyond the circular economy. We have the bio-circular green economy or BCG. So this is based on philosophy of sufficient economies. So three keys economy are combined. One is a circular economy. Second is the green economies. And third is bioeconomy. And hopefully that this will provide the guidance and integrate all the sector in all dimensions, including the behavior change, mindset, and innovation for resource protections. So when it comes closer, I would like also to give you an example in terms of the waste management in my university, Chulalongkorn University. We do quite a good job. We have what we call, slogan, Chula Zero Waste. Okay. So to make that all single-use plastic, we actually, what the university tried to do is that not allow us to use any single-use plastic in the university campus. So there are several programs, several campaigns going on, and it has been, I believe, 4 year, 5 year already, and so far they're doing very good. Okay. So that is just an example that I show you in a big picture, that what we can do, to help in terms of to solve the problem of the oceans, ecosystem. But when we come into a little bit closer to us, many people probably ask, themselves several times that for us, as a small individual, how we can help to change or to protect the ocean's ecosystems. Actually, there's a couple of things that I would like to share with you today. One is the capacity buildings. Okay, so when we talk about, regulation law to solve the problem of the ocean, is very good, but then we also need a capacity building in several levels of the communities of the population. So the capacity can include, the skill, the knowledge, the teachings, the coachings, the learning, the supportings, okay, for the ocean conservations. So when we're talking about capacity building, as I just mentioned, it can be divided into 3 levels, okay, communities, national, and regionals. A lot of time we're talking about national level and regional level, but unfortunately, many times we forgot about community level. Community level, in this case, I don't mean just only scientific communities, okay? We have to include the layman people, because the layman, the local people, they are the one that can make the difference, can change or can protect our ecosystem. So that's why in this picture, okay, when we talk about the capacity building, not just only scientists itself, not just only the government itself, but the private sector, the NGO, the local people, both adult and young, okay, have to be included in this capacity building. And definitely, we cannot deny that all the law, all the policy come from the government, right? So the capacity building have to go to the government sector too, to inform them that why, we have to save the ocean. What happened? What is the current situation, current problem that's going on in each country? Well, you know this actor and actress, right? Who is it? Tom Cruise.
Cameron
And
Diaz. Cameron
yeah, Cameron
Diaz.
Diaz. Yes, right. So when we're talking about capacity buildings, a lot of time people also use the tool, what we call the role model tool, right? Well, the beautiful and handsome actor and actress can be a role models, right? And can be a brand ambassador. And I think many countries use the actor and actress, you know, to be a brand ambassador. We can use Tom Cruise on Cameron Diaz for the brand ambassador for the ocean conservation, right? Because they have so many fan clubs. You know, if you want them to inspire people to conserve the ocean, can these two people can do it? Yes, they can, because you know they have a lot of fan club. But if you want them to inspire young people to become marine biologists or to be a marine scientist, can they do it? I don't think so. They probably cannot do it because they are not a marine scientist. They are not marine biologists. So, well, who can be a role model? So in this case, actually, I want to emphasize that not just only the, you know, actor and actress can be a role model. Each of you can be a role model. The scientists, the local people, anyone can be a role model. No need to be very handsome or very beautiful, right? So why anyone can be a role model? Well, because right now people want someone to show us, not to tell us. Okay, it's make different, right? If someone just to tell you, but they not act, they not do anything, it's not going to be a good role model. So right now we need a role model that not just only tell us, but to show us. So this is one of the example that we try to do in Thailand, is that we're training the business sector for become a role model. So all those, you know, more than 100 people in the eastern part of Thailand, we train them and we spend quite several months with them and want them to become a role model so that they can go out and teach and do, you know, the things to change the behavior of the people. In this case, is to change the behavior of how we can manage the plastic waste in the locations. So not just only that, okay, the other things that we can do and help is that being a science communicator. Right now, unfortunately, there is still some gap between science and publics, right? So we need science communicator. Science communicator can be scientists or can be a local people or people that have that are non-scientists. But if they can communicate very well, they can have the bridge between science and public. That is a great thing. Okay. And not just only that, we need the person to help us to collect the data. Right now, for example, in Thailand, we just have a handful of marine scientists, right? So we cannot really go too far in order to get, you know, all the data that we want. We need citizen science to help us to collect the data. And it's worked quite well when we have those people, local people, to help us and collect the data and help us to monitor what happened in the ocean in front of them. So this is one of the communications. What these try to show, you know, 55 and 97, they went out and surveyed to see that whether people believe in a climate change or not. Well, 97% of the scientist community believe in climate change. But can you see that just only 55% of the people that not really believes it? So what really happened? Why they not believe it? Because of the science or the information is not really reach them very well. Okay, and there's also another capacity building. So you can see that capacity building, as I mentioned earlier, is important to include in all the stakeholder, including adult, but we cannot deny that if we can have capacity building, teach all the kids, the young generation how to conserve the ocean, that will be great, because they are the one that are gonna live in this world for more than 50, 60 years, and they are the one that will make a difference to protect our oceans. Okay, similar to the kids, adults. Okay, one thing that I would like to emphasize, and actually we have been using a lot, is that we not just only teach them from whatever the thing that we want to make them conserve, but we have to let them see and feel it. So let them see and feel it, that what really happened with the ocean, and let them feel, sympathy on it too, if it's, in the case of if the damage of the ecosystem, so that they can understand really that what happened a lot of time in the past, why when we say that have a public awareness, and it's not really get into the end and all, or not really get into the level that we want, because public awareness a lot of time in the past, we can just give them the information, but we not let them see by themselves, and we not let them feel it. And that's why public awareness is not really increased as we want to be. Okay. This is another thing that also I would like to share with you, that when we're talking about the waste management, okay, we teach the kids, but we also allow them to think and decide. What I mean is that we allow them to think and decide how they can reuse those plastic trash in their local area to make a new thing. So what happened is that all those kids, after the school, they come together, and we have a teacher to teach them how to make a new stuff, new thing come out from the plastic waste. And you can see that those kids can make the bag from those goodie bag that they already eating the snack. And even though this bag is not expensive, but at least actually some of them can be sell just only 10 baht, 20 baht, or about $1, and it worth it, because this teach the kids how to reuse all those plastic bags. And as I mentioned to you, we not just only teach them, but if we can be able to allow them to work together with scientists collecting the data, become a citizen science, that also will make them eager more to learn more and to conserve more about the ocean. So this is show the data from Australia, from Great Barrier Reef. They show that, well, more than 5,000 volunteers that donate their time to collect the data, to conserve or try to monitor the Great Barrier Reef. So actually, they ending up having more than 70,000 data points based on the 5,000 volunteers. So you can see that if we have citizen science come and work with scientists, we will get more data from this. Not just only that, I think now is also important, and I know that many countries have been working on that. In terms of when we talking about capacity building, we should also include the empowering of women in marine science in ocean conservation area. So having a new perceptions, making science more accessible to those women, and build a confidence of those women based on the merit, not the charity. It's very important to build the confidence of those women based on the merit, not the charity, and based on what they deserve, and let them feel the comfortable across the spectrums. Okay, so let those women have opportunities and let them have a chance and make marine science accessible to them too. And well, I know that many of you are scientists, but probably scientists from different areas. Right now, we can see some change too. That marine scientists in the past, we more concentrate on the publication, laboratory, right? But modern and future, in this case, marine scientists, if we're talking about ocean conservation, modern some future marine scientists, well, it's not just only publication, it's not just only in the lab, but we have to reach out to use people and private sector politicians and be a role model and be a science communicator. So this is a modern and a futures of the marine scientists that we need in, all the countries. And definitely, when we talk about that, reaching out to people, reaching out to the politicians, so it means that we have to be out of the comfort zone and transform ourselves. And that's why we can be able to reach to the goal that we want is to conserve the oceans. And not just only on that, because like now we have a seminar. I don't have to go to any country. I can just sit in Thailand and do the talk because of what? Because of cyber things, or the new technologies, and we need to use these to cyber science to help to make the information out and reach those people in different sectors. So a new era of citizen science, we have to use all the social media, have volunteer computing, volunteer thinking, and passive sendings. And to reach out the goal of human food, environmental securities and sustainabilities, capacity buildings, as I just mentioned to you, is important, and it can develop a human potentials. So last but not least, I would like to say that to make a difference, to protect our oceans, we need to build capacity in different level, and not just only science communities. We need a partner networking, and well, as a scientist, if someone become a scientist now, we have to be out of our comfort zone, reaching out to those people that are not scientists, be a role models and be a scientific communicators. And we need those people, a private sector, government sector, kids people to work together. And if we can do this, we can make a difference to protect our oceans, and we can make sure that we leave a better planet for our future generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Suchana Chavanich. I'm really impressed with your comprehensive presentation today. I believe that 35 participants will agree with me that we have learning from you a lot. And they probably, before we go for the question, answer, and comments, which we have about 30 minutes or more, if you like, I'd like to make some kind of concluding of what you have presented on the ocean in a changing world, how we can help. You have kindly mentioned about the plastic era, which is in particular the gang in ASEAN. As well
Hello.
as food security. You hear me?
Well, I think the signal is cut. Can you repeat it again, please?
You repeat it again. I'd like to make a concluding of your presentation. The first one is on, you mentioned about plastic era, right? Especially in ASEAN country, the gang, very interesting, and China, the leading one. Also, we have Egypt. You know that you have 7 country of CIRDAP member countries also. So we concerned with this as well. Um, Secondly, plastic waste in the ocean. Uh, that concern food safety, especially the microplastic and so on. Also with the food security. And you kindly mentioned about roadmap, the waste management of Thailand, which is very interesting to see this kind of effective policy. I hope that we can make it. Uh, Next is on the uh, sea waste management and how to help protect the ocean ecosystem. Role model. Uh, you mentioned about science, communicators, and citizen science, networking of individual organization across sector. And you mentioned about empowering women in marine science. We have also program on women, youth, and rural development. That probably, if we can collaborate, community can or Thailand can submit the proposal for funding. We are going to launch that the end of this year, the project, so that Thailand can apply also. And lastly, you mentioned about cyber science, which is we are in the digital era as well. So this concludes your presentation today, which is very interesting, and I believe that participants will raise some question and comments. Before they ask the question, I'd like to ask you first, just one question. Between the difference between capacity building and capacity development, can you clarify it a little bit?
Thank you very much, Dr. Chersak. Well, capacity building, capacity developments, I think it's almost, close meaning, but if you, well, for my opinions, I think there's a little bit difference. Capacity building is that you build it, okay, maybe start from zero. But capacity development is that you already have it, but you want to go into the next step. And that, I think that is the difference.
That's
On
very
that.
clear. That's very clear. I think you're correct, because capacity building we normally use for improve the new knowledge, whereas the capacity development you based on the build knowledge based on the existing knowledge and skill, right? So some people already have knowledge and skill, they can go further. So that clarified this question. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask the participant to start question. You can turn on your video and ask directly. We don't have so many people. You can ask Professor Suchana directly, please.
Madam, I have a question. Hello.
Yes,
Introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I am Dr. Pratap Mukhopadhyay from Kolkata, India.
Okay.
My question is, it is we all are feeling that climate change is a reality. Now, under such a situation, marine microalgae, which provide bulk of the oxygen required for all our living systems, must be at stake. Can you kindly say a few words on what should be our course of action in order to save the microalgae in the marine ecosystem?
okay. So, please allow me to repeat your questions again. So your questions are in circumstance that we have a climate change situations, how we can save the
Yeah.
marine algae, right?
True, madam.
Okay. So based on my knowledge, I think when we're talking about the climate change, if the you know, we always means the temperatures risings. So it seems to be, and based on several paper, those algae probably not gonna affect too much from there because there's a primary production. So the more like, you know, the better they grow, except there are some certain algae that have, you know, calcium carbonates,
Yeah,
like a chloride algae, and that could have effects, not through the climate change directly, but what, as probably some of you know, to the ocean acidifications, you know, that can reduce the calciums um, on them. So unfortunately, I think right now we probably cannot do anything much about the
okay.
risings of the water temperatures, even though you know, the ocean become acids. We just monitoring, and we hope that, you know, those will not increase too fast, because some of you may know that the situation right now in the oceans, it's supposed to happen, you know, 100 years later, but it's just, you know, coming and occurring too fast because of human activity. So I think we have to slow down, and very, very slow down all, you know, the activities
True. Okay.
on that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So hope,
May
hope.
I may may I add to Professor Suchana a little bit
Yep.
on this question? I think I understand that Dr. Pathak mean algae bloom. In
Yeah,
case of
true.
Oh,
climate change, it make the algae bloom more,
Yeah,
and that will be dangerous because uh, that will make a harmful toxin in
true,
the
true.
ocean to
Yes,
marine life.
oh,
So
yes,
in
okay.
that case, you need also to look after all kinds of uh, uh, discharge from the land source, land-based pollution like
yes. Okay.
fertilizer and other things that can increase the algae bloom.
Yeah.
So I think that has to be stopped on land because mainly are from land-based activities, right?
Yep,
Okay.
right, right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you
okay,
very much,
thanks.
Dr.
Okay.
Chersak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, madam, and thank you, Professor Bida.
Anyone else, please? You have half an hour. Please use your time, your valuable time, please. Professor
Uh,
Hilal.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm just turning my video on. Yeah, one thing is like,
Please introduce yourself first.
oh,
Yes,
yeah,
everyone.
I'm Professor Mohammad Hilaluddin. I'm Director of Research at CIRDAP and also a Professor of Economics at the University of Dhaka, Bangladesh. My question is like, uh, it seems like coral reefs is the epicenter of marine biodiversity, key player in the survival of entire ecosystem, marine ecosystem, marine animals like food for it is playing a critical role. But when we are looking at like the marine conservation, then we see like species loss, habitat degradation, which is degrading coral reefs, changes function. There is focus on limiting human caused damage to marine ecosystem. Now the question is like the focus of this presentation is kind of like land-based, I mean, pollutions, right? So plastic is one of the, carcinogenic, source for that. But my question is like when we are trying to solve it, there is a fundamental problem here, like ocean without national boundary. right? There is no national boundary. So Thailand can have some policies to, work on this, but Thailand can work in a tiny part of ocean, right? To, have good practices, but it's a boundaryless, like the ocean. So in that case, one country A can do some good activities to have preserve the ecosystem, right? To fix damage in coral reefs, it's possible. But country B can, can go with over exploiting and overusing, and also dumping pollutions. And sometimes, like we see, like the spillover of oil in an ocean affecting the entire system there. So my question is, like, in terms of motivation or incentive, it's a global phenomenon. So if there is a global body to enforce it globally, maybe it's effective. It may be effective. But if there is no global, pressure, global policy to pressurize all the nations in the country, then can it work? A single country like Thailand, like Bangladesh, they can do some activities, but can it help to restore the coral reefs and also marine ecosystem? Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much for your comments and your questions. And I totally agree that, if one country doing alone is probably not gonna make difference much. And that's why, unfortunately, I didn't show you today that ASEAN itself, so not just only Thailand, so Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, they work together, for example, to combat with the marine debris, because they know that if the Thailand's, just only one country they're doing, you are right and you're correct that, once it's get into the ocean, it can go anywhere outside of Thailand. 4 years ago, I went to the northern part, the North Pole. You would not believe all those trash already end up into the North Pole, but no one claim, those trash, because the North Pole is no one, occupy. So you can see that ocean is one oceans. It's no boundaries. And in terms of this, not just only marine debris issues, but the climate change issue is also global, and we have to work together. I know, like a European country, they also work together. ASEAN work together. Asian, we try to work together. But if we can work together as a one, not just only different, part, I think that would be more success. Okay. But I think it have to depend on the government sector, how hard that they try to work together with different countries in the regions and as global. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. I'd like to add, because I used to be with the Ocean Institute. In fact, we have the UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and as Professor Suchana just mentioned, ASEAN Regional Action on Marine Debris, right? That proposed a few years ago, right? 2019
Yes.
or something like that. And that's why we have today World Ocean Day. And World Ocean Day is not for organization only, not for country only. It's for individual, for everyone. And it has been proposed since 2000 by IOI to the UN, and it's adopted 2009. And earlier, before adopted, people have already known World Ocean Day. And nowadays, including us today, we organize webinar. Everyone organize this event, many thousand events around the globe, and they enforce this kind of things to people, to community, and with Professor Suchana mentioned about cyber, right? Cyber communication, so digital, online, and so on. So we reach out most of people around the world, and so that we have to believe that this kind of thing digitally go around the world. So but to enforce it, it need to be national and also community level to help because everything created by human, it has to be managed by human. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chersak.
Any more, please? Any more question, please? Still have 20 minutes. I will ask you by name if you don't ask the question. It's a classroom. It's like a classroom now.
Ma'am, can I ask?
Don't run away. Okay. Okay,
Uh,
Huren.
ma'am, my name is Hurain Zannat. So I'm working as a communication officer in CIRDAP. So when you show that slide in as the science communicator, so can you tell more about it? Because you said that it can be a scientist or it can be a non-scientist. A scientist can explain easily, but non-scientists like me sometimes can have some problem about the terminology about oceans. So can you say more about the science communicator? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. You bring a good point in the terminologies. And, as a person who are going to be a science communicator, actually terminology is the one that they should avoid, and they avoid it. And you said that a scientist become a scientific communicator is easy. No, I don't think so, because if it's easy, then we would not have a problem, the gap between scientists and policymaker. But the one that like for example in Thailand, I know that many people that don't have a background on science at all, like meteors, all those reporter, they are done an excellent job to become a science communicators. And the reason come back that you use the terminologies, they avoid terminology, and they make those terminology wording become an easy word for people to understand. So the things that for science communicator is that what they want is that to give the message to many people as possible using just only layman word, easy word, no terminologies. Hope is explained to you. So if you don't have a background on science, that's good. You can be an excellent, person to become a science communicator right now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, there are many participants from different countries, from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, from Thailand. There are many from Thailand. I can see the name. Please comments or ask any questions so that we can make this webinar useful to everyone. Please. I think that I have to ask now, Professor Suchana, the PDF file of your presentation so that we can post it on the website. Will this be possible?
Yeah, I can send to you later on at the
Okay.
end of the seminar.
All right. Thank you. Uh,
One more question from my side.
okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I am Pratap again. What we feel that for our future food and possibly other resources also, we will have to depend on ocean in the foreseeable future. So we think that at least I feel that a substantial part of our important food sources, food of very high biological value. When I say important food, I mean to say food of very high biological value and other resources will have to come from oceans, because there is hardly any further scope to raise the food production from our terrestrial resources. Now, what should be our approach on mariculture in the future, so that we can really depend on marine resources for our food.
Yeah, uh, well, I think you are right. Unfortunately, right now our oceans, a lot of food, the resources have been depleted. So that's why you could see that aquaculture come into place. And I think it will be a significant, important sources in the future for aquacultures. But as some of you may know, if you work on aquacultures, that uh, if you work on aquaculture in fresh waters, animal, it's probably easy to culture compared to the salt water. And that's why there is now still some limitations about aquacultures in those uh, marine animals. But now, like for example, fresh water shrimps in Thailand, the majorities, or brackish shrimps, um, uh, the one that edibles, popular edible, majority come from aquaculture. So aquaculture will play a significant role in the futures, because the ocean, even though we try to do the best right now, but unfortunately the population in many marine organisms have been decreased so much. So it will take a long time for them to recover and to be able to support us like in the past.
Madam,
So
in such a situation, do you think that sea ranching of some important marine species could be a possible solution? Because in the marine hatcheries, we can get the seed, and then when they little grow up, we can release it in the ocean to be again captured in the future. So, do you
yeah,
think that sea ranching may be a possibility?
yes,
Because actually, we have an institute in our country, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute in Kochi. Periodically, they do some sea ranching. I was thinking, hopefully, that sea ranching may be useful to get future food in the form of fish and shrimp. Fish, shrimp, or whatever it is, any other aquatic animals.
yeah, I think you're right. It's possible, and I think it will be a major important way to increase the population in the oceans. Maybe
Yeah.
Dr. Chesak would like to add something more on that.
Yes, I just want to say a few words that right now we have many marine culture of fish species
Yeah.
in all parts of the ocean. Uh, Mainly they are in cage or in uh,
Yeah.
what you call something
Enclosures.
enclosure.
Yeah.
So those are already practiced many in many places, and we also providing some kind of guideline for them to be able to maintain the environmental friendly and density of growing and so on. But recently we are looking at the seaweed sea potential, because this seaweed farming can be made at a large scale, and
Yeah.
this seaweed is useful because it can be used for multi-purpose, for consumption, for cosmetic, and for
Yeah.
other things. And at the same time, it has role to play in climate change uh, adaptation and mitigation, because they can be a carbon sink area.
Yeah.
So we should promote these kind of things, especially in Europe, European Sea. They have like Norway and maybe Africa. Also in Bangladesh, and India also doing. So this kind of seaweed should be promoted.
Yeah,
So
thank
I
you so
just
much.
only have that
Yeah,
comment. Yes,
seaweed,
thank you.
seaweed
Thank you.
culture will be a very important step. Very
Yes, yes.
important step because
Japan,
uh,
Korea, they are
yeah,
doing very
they
much.
are
Yeah,
already doing. But if
yeah.
say in a country like India, for example, I stay close to Sundarbans in the
Sundarban.
Indian Sundarbans. Now
All right.
I also feel after hearing from you, I also now started feeling that maybe in Sundarban also such seaweed culture system may be developed initially. It is true that the Indians are not used to seaweed taking as a food directly, but it will definitely have export potential. It will have
Right,
medicinal
right.
values, and above all, the
All
most
right.
important thing that you stated, that it would act as a sink and thus contribute to resilience of climate change. Thank you,
All
sir.
right,
Thank you so
all right.
much.
Thank
This
you very
suggestion
much.
from
I just like to add. I attend the UN Compact last week, and they discussed uh, by the UN SCAP and Thai private sector like PTT and Bangkok Petroleum. They are doing seagrass project, and that's also good because it's a nature-based solution. It's not only produce uh, food for people, but also for animal, for marine creatures,
okay.
conservation. So that also good in certain area, right?
So
Okay,
sea grass is different from seaweed, isn't it, sir?
different is
Yeah.
on
Okay.
this on the seafloor.
Thank you, sir.
Um,
Thank you so much.
just
All right.
I would like to add one point here, since nobody is asking question. Like in terms of what Dr. Pratap Mukhopadhyay said, like whether we are getting increasingly dependent on marine for food.
Yes.
To my sense is like, if I look at Bangladesh case, like if I don't disaggregate, like exclude like fish from food, then we are heavily dependent on, like, say, hilsha. Hilsha is a marine fish,
Yes,
eh,
surely,
right?
surely.
Yeah, we are dependent, and also like we are going for some seaweed culture in Cox's Bazar, and Bangladesh government is like, I mean, putting a lot of like stress on blue economy. How can we exploit our, I mean, marine resources? And now land-based resources all over the world are exploited to some
Yes.
extent. And that's why we see like geopolitical pressure. We see like countries are trying to going to different other areas where resources are not exploited in land-based resources. But now increasingly we have, I mean, more and more focus on marine resources. And countries like Bangladesh, we are also trying to gain from marine resources. So I think like for food and other purposes, we are increasingly focus on marine resources in the coming years. And that's a problem for us, because for climate change, we cannot agree globally to combat it, because some of the industrialist country, they're I mean, contributing more to climate change because of their economic gain. Similarly, like for marine resources, some of the countries will exploit more. They will not try to go with the international rules or policies to contribute to fix marine resources.
Do you hear me?
The
In, you hear Uh,
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
uh, do you hear me now? Okay.
Yes,
Professor Suchana, I just want to. Do you want to respond first, or you like me to respond to Professor Hilal?
I think you can respond, and I agree with Professor Hara on that.
You see, normally when we do mariculture, if we are in the national jurisdiction, the what you want with that. Uh, do you hear me? Uh, you hear me? Okay.
yes,
I
sir.
know
Yes,
that
sir.
the network is not so good. If you want to grow fish or do mariculture beyond national jurisdiction, that will be in trouble. For example, exclusive economic zone. Uh, Normally, you will be very close to your coastal area, except those for bluefin tuna, like in Europe. They're growing in a little bit further. Normally, it's with uh, yes. Is Do you hear me?
We hear you, sir.
Okay. So the government have to look after that, not to have the activity expand until it affect environment, uh, and it has to be authorized for doing this business. So this kind of thing is it's not only international rules but also national rules. Okay, I just want to answer that. Okay, you have 5 minutes, please. Somebody else question, please. I won't allow Professor Hilal anymore. You asked 3 questions already. Let other people ask also.
Not
Anyone
asking any more
else?
question. I'm not asking any more question.
Okay. Uh, okay. Anyone else? If not, I like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Suchana for a very important, very fruitful lecture today for CIRDAP to celebrate the World Ocean Day 2022. And I also thank the distinguished participants for your active question and answer. And so let us celebrate the World Ocean Day 2022 today and other days as well, and hopefully that we can be part of your uh, uh, goodwill in order to make the oceans safe from all kinds of damage, and restore our ocean back, promote our livelihoods and economy, and so let's work together in the from now to the future. So I back to Huren for your announcement, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone, for joining this webinar. If you have um, more questions or any opinions or suggestion about our webinar or about today's webinar topic, please send us directly. I'm communication officer in here. I'm putting my email address in the chat box, so you can send directly to me, so I can forward it to Madam and also our Director General. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thanks. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.